Let's talk about a creepy movie that I had no idea about when going into it. Bring Her Back. Bring Her Back is the sophomore outing of the directors of Talk to Me, a movie that I have yet to see, but I heard really great things about, especially in its sense of atmosphere and horror elements and directing style. Having said that, I had no idea what Bring Her Back was about. They kind of kept it under wraps with even the trailers without really revealing too much. I did know Sally Hawkins was in it, and that kind of got me excited to watch it. And I gotta say, this is a very eerie and spooky movie. One thing I appreciate about this movie is that it's not a jump scare heavy film. Yes, there are moments that build up tension and kind of shock you with what's on screen, but it doesn't rely on it. It really creates a sense of eeriness with its atmosphere, which I think the directors do such a good job of making you feel uncomfortable, uneased with what is going on. And I don't want to get into too much spoiler territory, but this movie does deal with a lot of heavy themes and some really occultic things. They don't really explain how Sally Hawkins' character kind of comes about this thing and what she's trying to do, but as the mystery unravels, you're really intrigued as to what she's doing. And it's really messed up stuff, by the way. I think the highlight of this film is the commitment of the cast and their dedication to their performance in here. Sally Hawkins is great, as she always is. She gives a really annoying and very spazzy character who's also very scary and uncomfortable to watch at times. She captures it so well as she goes from being vulnerable to being really creepy, all in the moment of a few scenes. The supporting cast with I'm not familiar with the two leads, but they do a really good job in this film. They have a really great brother sister dynamic in the film, and you can really see that they care for one another. And the boy who you see here is very creepy. I know I'm using creepy a lot in this review, but that's what this movie is. It's just creepy and eerie and unsettling, and it's just makes you feel so uncomfortable. And as things come about, you're really shocked by some of the very graphic visuals that play on the screen. And it's not just done for shock for the sake of shock, but it does it in such a discomforting way. I will say that if you are anticipating this movie being a horror movie from start to finish, don't go with that expectation. It does ease you into the horror elements of this film. It kind of really focuses on the relationships first, and then it introduces the more supernatural and psychological horror aspects of the film. It has you guessing if things are real or if they're not, somewhere in the middle. But as things unfold, you start seeing the really messed up stuff towards the end of the film. I don't want to go into spoiler territory. That's why I'm being so vague with it, because it's a movie that should be experienced. I really like the directing style of the directors here, and it does make me want to watch Talk to Me and see what they did with that first film, especially since this is so good and people say Talk to Me is a lot better. And having said that, I mean, this is a pretty good movie, and it has a really great chemistry with the cast, and the horror elements are really creepy and unsettling. There are just some things that I wish were explained a little better or fleshed out a little bit more. It does leave you a little bit questioning how some of these things happen, what led to this. I don't need everything handheld and explained to me, but there were some things that kind of left gaps in its kind of story.